And we gon' purge all these demons out. We in the end time. I see your trick. All praise to the Most High. Yahweh Ba'Shem Mashiach Yahshua. Abanawa Allah. I vow to live for you. I need a phase. I'm about to make the devil really mad. I got a soul he can never have. I'm on the road on a narrow path. Messiah, my rock, falling on commands. I'ma get up when I fall like a man, like Moses did when he raised his hands. Keeping that oil in my lap is a plan. We in the end times while you playing. I know the angels watching me. Every day I'm really on my knees. Forgive me, Father, for offending thee. I want Messiah to remember me. I ain't trying to depart from me. Plead the blow, watch some demons flee. Show the Father he all I need. I ain't trying to depart from me. We in the spiritual war. Messiah's right at the door. We in the end time, yeah, for sure. It's really time to shop them swords. Who gon' receive the spiritual power? I was gon' send it down like a shower. All in that lamp, candles lit. He gon' destroy this in an hour. I told Satan, get thee behind me. I'm in that secret place, he can't find me. Sending them demons at me, get around me. Open that ocean out, but he can't drown me. Who really living and walking the world? Fire's coming, what you ain't heard. That fire's coming, you about to burn. He's sending them prophets you don't wanna learn. I vow to live for you. I vow. To make the devil really mad. I got a soul he can never have. I'm on the road on a narrow path. Messiah, my rock, falling on commands. I'ma get up when I fall like a man, like Moses did when he raised his hands. Keeping that oil in my lap is a plan. We in the end times while you playing. I know the angels watching me. Every day I'm really on my knees. Forgive me, Father, for offending thee. I want Messiah to remember me. I ain't trying to depart from me. Plead the blow, watch some demons flee. Show the Father he all I need. I ain't trying to depart from me.
Right now, somebody is hating on you, and you and me. This is what we gonna tell them. I'm in a whole different stratosphere. Vision is sharp and my path is clear. On my purpose plus I'm eloquent. Your opinion of me is irrelevant. I'm in a whole different stratosphere. Vision is sharp and the path is clear. On my purpose plus I'm eloquent. Your opinion of me is irrelevant. Doesn't matter what they say about me, cause I know God don't play about me. Rumors don't matter if they aren't true. The reason they mad is cause they aren't you. They aren't blessed, they aren't highly favored. They're just jealous that somebody made it. Words may hurt, but it didn't kill. And you can't break what you didn't build. Use these words as an affirmation. Don't let them distract you from your aspiration. Let the hatred feed your inner beast, but always keep God as your centerpiece. What that mean? You gotta be in B with it. Always. Don't stand for nothing, then you need to sit and watch the real soldiers take a risk. If you relate to this, then homie, make a fist. I'm in a whole different stratosphere. Vision is sharp and my path is clear. On my purpose plus I'm eloquent. Your opinion of me is irrelevant. I'm in a whole different stratosphere. Vision is sharp and the path is clear. On my purpose plus I'm eloquent. Your opinion of me is irrelevant. If the keyboard is crazy and the drum pad is kicking, you can pass me the mic. I'm about to start spitting. Will they love me, feel me, relate to me lyrically, hate me, despise me, corrupt inside spiritually. It's the times that we're living in. No selling my soul, there's no giving in. I ain't waiting on a Judas purse. Trained till the arms are bulging through the shirts. Get the picture, that's what cameras do. Protect what I own, I got hammers too. Prefer peace and I'm praying on it. Club shame, let Damon weigh in on it. Use these words as an affirmation. Don't let them distract you from your aspiration. Knowledge and wisdom helps you free yourself, and success will find you, so be yourself. I'm in a whole different stratosphere. Vision is sharp and my path is clear. On my purpose plus I'm eloquent. Your opinion of me is irrelevant. I'm in a whole different stratosphere. Vision is sharp and the path is clear. On my purpose, plus I'm eloquent. Your opinion of me is irrelevant. I need y'all to say that every day. We on a whole different stratosphere. We don't give a damn what the haters say. Yeah, I'm out.
Abanawa, Shabashamayim, Kwadash, Hayah, Shamka, Yahweh, Malakwatka, Taba'a, Ratazaka, Hayah, Aisha, Ba'aratazar, Kawa, Hayah, Bashamayim, Lathananawa, Lacham, Kal, Yawam, Wasalachnawa, Chaubwathnawa, Kasalachnawa, Chaubwathinawa, Wala'a, Tabia Anawa, Manasaya 1, Abal, Hawashayanawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwa, Wa'ala, Wa'atapa Arath, La'ai Walamyam, Aman.
Shalom, shalom. All praise to the Most High. Welcome back. Another Thursday night. I don't know what's going on with this setup. I don't know. It's going kind of crazy, but we're gonna make it do what it do. All praise and glory to the Most High. Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shabbarakatam, Washamaratham. Y'all already know this won't be a long class. It's a very simple class. Thursday night, you know what I'm saying? I know people got to go to work in the morning. So we'll just get right into it. So we have, we have strengthened the house. Now this is a little bit more than the physical aspect. This is also going into the spiritual aspect, you know what I'm saying? So, because when we think of strengthening the house, yes, our first priority is to strengthen our own homes, which is fine. You know what I mean? We want to do that. We got to build Israel from the inside. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, there is a spiritual side to it as well. So let's go right to it. Let's get this right here. Okay. Let's get the book of Proverbs, chapter 24 and verse 3. All right. It says, through wisdom is an house built. Through wisdom is an house built. All right. What do I want to do? Wisdom is knowledge, right? But we know that it goes further than that. Wisdom has to do with keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. This is how you start to gain wisdom, right? So through wisdom is an house builded, and by understanding, it is established. Okay, right there, by understanding, it is established. Let's get the book of Job, chapter 28 and verse 28. Book of Job, chapter 28, verse 28 says, and unto man he said, behold, the fear of the Lord, that is wisdom, and to depart from evil is understanding. So a lot of times we have our own idea of, or we have an English definition, we have a Hebrew definition, we even have the blue letter, the strong, so on and so forth. And like I say all the time, be careful with these because a lot of these stem from Christianity, You know what I mean? A lot of these stem from Christianity, so be careful with some of the definitions. You know, you can look at, like the etymology of a word, or, just do a deeper dive on a word, right? So the understanding, you know what I mean, is to turn away from evil. And wisdom is fear of the Lord, right? So let's get Proverbs 9 and 10. Fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. You see that? So we understand that fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. How do you show fear, true fear of the Most High? It comes with obedience. You know what I'm saying? It comes with obedience. You can't, a lot of people say a lot of things and don't necessarily do. So they could be like, oh, yeah, I fear God. Okay, cool. Prove it. You know what I'm saying? Do you follow the law? Do you keep his high holy days? So on and so forth, right? So prove it. All right, so the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the holy is understanding. So the knowledge of the holy is understanding, which is to turn from evil, right? Now we know that we possess this knowledge because we were the ones given the law, statutes, and commandments, and the judgments, and so on and so forth, right? So we possess that knowledge, and the knowledge of the holy. Who is the holy? Let's go to Deuteronomy 7 and 6. Y'all know this one. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. So we are chosen to be holy, right? So we are supposed to have this knowledge. We are supposed to gain this wisdom. You see, which, like I said, comes with obedience, laws, statutes, and commandments, so on and so forth. Let's get another one on wisdom. So this is the book of Sirach, right? This is the book of Sirach, chapter 4 and 17. Chapter 4, verse 17. Book of Sirach, chapter 4, verse 17 says, for at the first she will walk with him by crooked ways. This is speaking of wisdom, okay? For those of y'all that don't know or don't know the context of this chapter in Sirach, this is speaking of wisdom. So for at the first she will walk with him by crooked ways and bring fear and dread upon him and torment him with her discipline. Our laws give us discipline. We wouldn't know sin if it wasn't for the law. So it gives us discipline. It gives us order, right? Until she may trust his soul and try him by her laws. Then will she return the straight way unto him and comfort him and show him her secrets. But if he goes wrong, she will forsake him and give him over to his own ruin. Right? Salaki, I didn't have that on my screen. Forgive me, y'all. But that was Sirach 17 through 19 in the Apocrypha. All right. Yeah, I didn't have that on my screen. So, yeah, wisdom will walk with you and give you the laws, right? This is how you gain wisdom. This is fear of the Lord. Okay. Let's go back. Let's go back to Proverbs 24. And we were on verse 3, right? So verse 4. And by knowledge shall the chambers be filled with all precious and pleasant riches. All right. I'm not going to dive into this deep. All right. But I will touch on particular things as we go, as it comes to mind, right? So knowledge shall the chambers be filled. if we look into the definition of chambers in the Hebrew, right here, chamber, room, parlor, innermost or inward part, within. What do I want? I think I want a little more right here. Right here. Oops, I like it. It says a chamber, especially an inner apartment, whether of a tent or of a house. Y'all see that? So the chambers, so the house will be filled. What is it filled with? It's filled with all precious and pleasant riches. Like I said, I'm not going to go real deep in that, but if you go to Revelation 21 and it describes the kingdom, and it has a foundation and precious stones laid in there. This is the 12 tribes. All right. These precious stones is the 12 tribes. Okay. So meaning this scripture right here, by forsaking evil, shall the house be filled with Israel. You see that? That is the Most High's house. You know what I'm saying? This is what this is going into. Right? So how do we start strengthening this house? Obedience. Law, statutes, and commandments. Faith in Yahushua. Believing the words of the Most High. Following the words of the Most High. You see what I'm saying? This is how we already know as Israel we're supposed to gather together. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of us is on different sides of the country, all types of stuff in different countries, you know what I mean? Different continents, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But there's a form of gathering together that we went over before about being on one accord, you know, and as a nation in a whole, we are supposed to be strengthening the house of the Lord. All right. Now let's go to, there we go. Book of Psalms, chapter 127. Book of Psalms, chapter 127, verse 1. Says, except the Lord build the house, they labor in vain that build it. Except the Lord keep the city, the watchman walketh but in vain. Excuse me. So the Most High built this house, right? This is why there's an expectation, because we have a covenant. It's an expectation for us to build this house. We already know that there's a foundation, and what we're seeing spiritually, right, is that Israel is that house. You know what I'm saying? So if we're trying to do stuff on our own, you're doing it in vain. You have to build the house according to the Most High. All right. Let's get the book of Hebrews, chapter 3. And we'll go 1 through 6. Hebrews chapter 3, verse 1 says, wherefore, holy brethren, partakers of the heavenly calling, consider the apostle and high priest of our profession, Hamashiach Yahushua, who was faithful to him that appointed him, as also Moses was faithful in all his house. For this man was counted worthy of more glory than Moses, inasmuch as he who hath builded the house hath more honor than the house. So Moses was building the house, right? Moses walked us out of Egypt. Moses was handed the law, statutes, and commandments, and he was the one who distributed it to us. You see what I'm saying? But Yahushua is worthy of more glory than Moses, right? Even though Moses did that in the wilderness and coming from Mount Sinai, so on and so forth, yes, Moses started to build the house of the Lord with us. right? But Yahushua is greater than that. Verse 4, for every house is builded by some man, but he that buildeth all things is Yahweh. And Moses verily was faithful in all his house as a servant for a testimony of those things which were to be spoken after. But Hamashiach as a son over his own house, whose house are we, if we hold fast the confidence and the rejoicing of the hope firm unto the end, right? We have to hold fast to what we know. What we know is in the scriptures, right? Law, statutes, and commandments, the prophets, Yahushua. You know what I mean? This is the things we know. These are the things that we're supposed to follow in order to help build and strengthen this house. It just said that we're the house of the Lord. You see what I'm saying? We're the house of the Lord. So, like I said, it's more than just our physical homes, but it starts in our physical homes. You know what I'm saying? It starts in your physical home. But because if you can't, we'll get to that later. But it starts in your physical home. All right? Let's go to Ephesians chapter 2, verse 19. We'll start at 19. Says, now therefore ye are no more strangers and foreigners, but fellow citizens with the saints and of the household of God. Now we know, now for some people who may be watching or don't know, we know that this is speaking of people in the diaspora, the Northern Kingdom, so on and so forth. You see what I'm saying? Israel, who are called Gentiles, this is who they're speaking of, right? No more strangers and foreigners, but fellow citizens with the saints and of the household of God, and are built upon the foundation of the apostles and the prophets, Yahushua HaMashiach himself being the chief cornerstone, in whom all the building fitly framed together groweth unto a holy temple in the Lord, in whom ye also are builded together for an habitation of God through the Spirit. You see that? Israel is built fitly framed together to be the holy temple of the Most High, right? Yahushua is the cornerstone. Yahushua is the cornerstone. You know what I'm saying? This is the foundation, right? Yahushua is the foundation, and we're supposed to strengthen this home. There's a lot of things that be going on with Israel, Salakia. There's a lot of things that be going on with Israel, which is crazy, so to speak. But you know, as a nation, we're supposed to strengthen this home. You know what I mean? What good is two walls with no roof? You know what I'm saying? Like, if y'all understand what I'm saying, right? So Israel is supposed to strengthen this house together. All right. Let's get the book 1 Corinthians chapter 3, right? Because it said, we groweth unto an holy temple in the Lord. 1 Corinthians chapter 3. And I'll actually start at, I'm not going to get to the famous, you know what I mean? I'm going to start at verse 11. It says, for other foundation can no man lay than that is laid, which is Yahushua HaMashiach. Now, if any man build upon this foundation gold, silver, precious stones, wood, hay, stubble, every man's work shall be made manifest, for the day shall declare it, because it shall be revealed by fire, and the fire shall try every man's work of what sort it is. We know that Israel has to go through the fire. You know, people complain about issues that they may be going through, problems that they may be having, so on and so forth. Okay. You know what I mean? But remember, that fire is what cleanses you. You know what I mean? And like I said, those precious stones, so on and so forth, this is speaking to the children of Israel, right? And your work shall be manifest. I don't know if this is going to say it in the Greek. Wherever it is. Oh, I passed it way up, right? There you go. The definition of manifest, and even in a regular dictionary, is apparent, manifest, evident, known. So to be made manifest is to be made known. So your works shall make you known, right? If you're of evil works, then you're going to be known of evil. You know what I'm saying? If you're of good works, going to be known of good. You see that? So every work is going to be made manifest. All right. Verse 14. If any man's work abide, which he hath built thereupon, he shall receive a reward. If any man's work shall be burned, he shall suffer loss, but he himself shall be saved, yet so as by fire. Know ye not that ye are the temple of God, and that the Spirit of God dwelleth in you? If any man defileth the temple of God, him shall God destroy. For the temple of God is holy, which temple ye are. Right? Which temple ye are. Yeah, I can stop right there. Which temple ye are, right? So we are the temple of God. We are the house of God. So we got to straighten it out. We got to tighten this up, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it's a lot of stuff that goes on with Israel sometimes, and it's just it'd be crazy. You know what I'm saying? Let's go to 1 Corinthians 6, 19 and 20. What? Know ye not that your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit, which is in you, which ye have of God, and ye are not your own? I really like that verse because you don't belong to yourself. You belong to the Most High, right? Verse 20, for ye are bought with a price. Therefore glorify Yahweh in your body and in your spirit, which are Yahweh's, right? Your body and your spirit belong to the Most High. And it says, you're bought with a price. We owe a debt. Remember that. You know what I'm saying? We owe a debt. That's the thing. And people don't really get that, right? Let's go to the book of 1 Peter. 1 Peter chapter 2. 1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 4. 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 4 says, to whom coming as unto a living stone, disallowed indeed of men, but chosen of God and precious. Salakia, let me see. Hopefully nothing's going on with this link. Okay. Salakia. Ye also, as lively stones, are built up a spiritual house, an holy priesthood, to offer up spiritual sacrifices acceptable to Yahweh by select acceptable to Yahweh by Yahweh Hamashiach. Wherefore also it is contained in the scripture, behold, I lay in Zion a chief cornerstone, elect, precious, and he that believeth on him shall not be confounded. Unto you, therefore, which believe he is precious, but unto them which be disobedient, the stone which the builders disallow, the same is made the head of the corner, and a stone of stumbling, and a rock of offense, even to them which stumble at the word, being disobedient, whereunto also they were appointed. You see that? So we understand that Yahweh is that foundation, and that we are supposed to be building obedience, law, so on and so forth, right? We're supposed to be strengthening Israel. We're supposed to be strengthening the house of the Lord, right? Let's get the book of Isaiah 28 and verse 16. Book of Isaiah chapter 28 verse 16 says, therefore thus saith the Lord God, behold, I lay in Zion for a foundation of stone, a tried stone, a precious cornerstone, a sure foundation. He that believeth shall not make haste. Right? This is written in the prophets. This is written in the prophets. Right? Let me see. Let's go to the book of Acts. You see that? So this is where we're supposed to be building off of, right? Because Yahweh is the foundation. So this is what we're supposed to be building off of. And we have the tools to build and strengthen the house through law, statutes, and commandments, through faith in Yahweh, so on and so forth, right? So we have the tools to do so. This book of Acts chapter 4, verse 11. This is the stone which was set at naught of you builders, which is become the head of the corner. Neither is there salvation in any other, for there is none other name under heaven given among men, whereby we must be saved. You see, so with Yahweh being the cornerstone, the foundation, us as a nation have a job to do. We can't, a lot of people think that they just be like, it's just going to work out. No, you got a duty to do as well. You know what I'm saying? If you ever go to a construction site, everybody got a job to do. You know what I'm saying? You got framers, you got drywallers, you got HVAC, you got, you know what I'm saying? You got to put this all together in order to build and strengthen that home. You see what I'm saying? But the foundation was already laid for you. You see? Let's get the book of Matthew chapter 7. Book of Matthew chapter 7 and verse 24. Book of Matthew chapter 7 verse 24 says, therefore whosoever heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them, I will liken him unto a wise man, which built his house upon a rock. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat upon that house, and it fell not, for it was founded upon a rock. And everyone that heareth these sayings of mine, and doeth them not, shall be likened unto a foolish man, which built his house upon the sand. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat upon that house, and it fell, and great was the fall of it. You see, so when you're trying to build on your own, when you're trying to strengthen on your own, right? We have some camps, right, in Israel that have failed, right? They have failed because they were trying to do it on their own doctrine, their own, whatever the case, you know what I'm saying? and those camps failed. You know what I mean? But when they had built the camp on the foundation, that camp stands. It might go through some things, but the camp itself stands because that house of Israel is building on Yahushua. Right? So, like I said, this is like the spiritual part of strengthening the house, because like I told y'all, Israel is the house of the Lord, right? Now, like I said, you have a physical part, which we must endure. Let's go to the book of Matthew, chapter 10. Book of Matthew, chapter 10, and verse 34. Like I said, this is not going to be a long class at all. So we'll get through it. Book of Matthew, chapter 10, verse 34 says, "Think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword. For I am come to set a man at variance against his father, and the daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And a man's foes shall be they of his own household. He that loveth father or mother more than me is not worthy of me, and he that loveth son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. And he that taketh not his cross and followeth after me is Salakia. And he that taketh not his cross and followeth after me is not worthy of me. He that findeth his life shall lose it, and he that loseth his life for my sake shall find it." You see? So even like the physical aspect, right? You have, like I said, it starts in your home as well. So it starts in your home, but he's going to set things. He's going to set things apart. You know what I mean? He's going to set things apart. Put son against father, daughter against mother, so on and so forth. Man's foes shall be they of his own house. Should be they of his own house. Let's get the book of Psalms, chapter 41. Just some examples, right? And of your own house doesn't always mean your roof. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't mean your immediate roof. It can mean Israel in general, the people around you, your brothers and sisters, so on and so on. You know what I'm saying? It can mean that, right? So it doesn't always have to mean your roof. So this is the book of Psalms, chapter 41 and verse 9. It says, "Yea, mine own familiar friend, in whom I trusted, which did eat of my bread, hath lifted up his heel against me." You see? So the Most High will set things. He will make things hard, right? Salakia, I'm seeing something here. And this is crazy. Salakia, y'all. I am seeing like a issue with one of these things here. Hold on, give me one moment, Salakia. All right, Salakia. I can't correct it right now, but we'll just get through the class. Okay, so like I said, it said a man against his brother, right? Said a man. So like I said, the house may not always be that it's your roof, right? Let's get the book of Judges, chapter 20, verse 19. Book of Judges, chapter 20, verse 19. And this has to do with Israel, right? Israel in the whole. You see what I'm saying? I'll start at 18. All right, it said, and the children of Israel arose and went up to the house of God and asked counsel of God and said, which of us shall go up first to the battle against the children of Benjamin? And the Lord said, Judah shall go up first. You see that? Judah and Benjamin was in battle. Verse 19, and the children of Israel rose up in the morning and encamped against Gibeah. And the men of Israel went out to battle against Benjamin, and the men of Israel put themselves in array to fight against them at Gibeah. And the children of Benjamin came forth out of Gibeah and destroyed down to the ground of the Israelites that day 22,000 men. You see, so Israel, within Israel, was at war. You know what I mean? Within Israel was at war. All right. That's just an example, right? Israel being against each other. You know what I mean? How can the house be strengthened if Israel's against each other? Let's get the book of Micah, chapter 7 and verse 6. For the son dishonoreth the father. The daughter rises up against her mother. The daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And a man's enemies are the men of his own house. You see what I'm saying? This is the physical side of it. This is the physical side. So like I said, you have a spiritual side of strengthening or tearing down the house, and you have a physical side. Right? Let's get the book of 1 Timothy, chapter 5, and verse 8. But if any provide not for his own, and specially for those of his own house, he hath denied the faith and is worse than an infidel. So even if you're not providing for your own, you see what I'm saying? And especially for those of his own house, you see, so you have his own people and his own home. So his own people, like I said, has to deal with the children of Israel. So that's the house of the Lord, right? But especially for your own house, you know what I mean? You're worse than an infidel. All right? Worse than an infidel. Let's go to chapter 3, I believe. Book of 1 Timothy, chapter 3, verse 5. For if a man know not how to rule his own house, how shall he take care of the church of God? You see? So like I said earlier, it starts in your home. It starts in your home. You have to have a foundation. You have to have the foundation of Yahweh Shai. Then you build your home through obedience, law, statutes, commandments, faith in Yahweh Shai. Then you build yours. Then you can help the church, which is the rest of Israel. You know what I mean? If you can't take care of home, how can you help the church? How can you help the people? Right? Let's get the book of Galatians, chapter 6. Book of Galatians, chapter 6, verse 7. It says, be not deceived, God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. For he that soweth to his flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption. But he that soweth to the Spirit shall of the Spirit reap everlasting. Reap life everlasting. And let us not be weary in well-doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not. As we have therefore opportunity, let us do good unto all men, especially unto them who are of the household of faith. What is the household of faith? The Most High's house. All right. the Most High's house. Let's get the book of Proverbs, chapter 14, verse 1. Like I said, you can strengthen your home or you can tear it down. Book of Proverbs, chapter 14, verse 1 says, "Every wise woman buildeth her house, but the foolish plucketh it down with her hands." So not only the man can tear down his house, but the woman can as well. You know what I mean? A lot of brothers and sisters look at the man in a certain way. You know, they have complete reign, complete order, and stuff like that. But if it was that solid, your wife wouldn't be able to tear the house down. You know what I mean? She wouldn't be able to. Let's drop down to verse 11. "The house of the wicked shall be overthrown, but the tabernacle of the upright shall flourish." Right? So no matter what, if your house is wicked, it's going to be torn down. If you don't have a foundation, it's going to be torn down. If you don't have understanding to turn away from evil, it's going to be torn down. You know, it's going to be torn down. You're not going to have strength in your house. You see that? Let's get the book of Proverbs 15. Book of Proverbs, chapter 15 and verse 25. Book of Proverbs 15 and 25. "The Lord will destroy the house of the proud, but he will establish the border of the widow." The meek, you see what I'm saying? The humble, you know? A desolate place, right? Desolate place. "But the proud will be destroyed." That home will be destroyed. You know, so even when it comes to this nation, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes, like I said, sometimes Israel goes through some stuff and has different issues and problems, right? The Most High will tear that portion down because it's a weak part of the house. You see? Let's go to chapter 12. Book of Proverbs, chapter 12, verse 7. "The wicked are overthrown and are not, but the house of the righteous shall stand." How do you become righteous? Like I said, following the laws, statutes, and commandments with faith in Yahushua, which is our foundation. This is how you be righteous. Right? Abraham was righteous. He followed everything that the Most High told him to do. Noah was righteous. You see what I'm saying? David, so on, right? Because they kept the law, and this is how they built their home. You see? Let's go to Proverbs 50 or Psalms 52. Select. Psalms 52, verse 5 says, "Yahweh shall likewise destroy thee forever. He shall take thee away and pluck thee out of thy dwelling place and root thee out of the land of the living." Root thee out of the land of the living, right? Because you can fall into the congregation of the dead once you lose understanding. You see, root thee out of the land of the living. Take you out your dwelling place. So we remove you from your home. You know what I mean? There's no strength in you. You know, there's no strength in the home like that. You know, and people think that it's all right. You know, people think it's all right because they lean into their own understanding, so on and so forth. You got some people who feel like you ain't got to keep the laws no more. You got some people, who Old Testament only don't believe in Yahushua, so on and so on. You see what I'm saying? So on and so on. And we read earlier in Isaiah that Isaiah prophesied that there would be a foundation laid. Speaking of Yahushua, you see? So I don't know how Old Testament cats be looking at it like that. All right? And we're going to wrap it up here in just a second. Let's go Book of Ezekiel, chapter 2, verse 5 through 7. It says, "And they, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear, for they are a rebellious house, yet shall know that there hath been a prophet among them. And thou, son of man, be not afraid of them, neither be afraid of their words. Thou, briars and thorns be with thee, and thou dost dwell among scorpions. Be not afraid of their words, nor be dismayed at their looks, though they be a rebellious house. And and thou shalt speak my words unto them, whether they will hear and whether they will forbear, for they are most rebellious." We're a rebellious nation. You see what I'm saying? We're a rebellious nation, man. Most High said, let me see. Most High said that if he had given his laws to the other nations, that they would have took them easy. They would have did it on. They would have just did it automatically. All right. Yep. So we see that we're a rebellious nation, right? This is why we get punished. This is why he tore down our house, so on and so forth, right? This is Ezekiel chapter 3, verse 6. Verse 6 says, "Not too many people of a strange speech and of a hard language, whose words thou canst not understand. Surely had I sent thee to them, they would have hearkened unto thee. But the house of Israel will not hearken unto thee, for they will not hearken unto me. For all the house of Israel are impudent and hard-hearted. Behold, I have made thy face strong against their faces, and thy forehead strong against their foreheads." You see that? Israel is rebellious. You know what I'm saying? We're just rebellious. And he said if he'd have gave it to the other nations, they'd have took it easily. But we're so hard-headed that the house of Israel don't listen. Like we just read in chapter 2, we're rebellious. You know what I'm saying? How is our house going to be strengthened if we're rebellious and if we don't build on top of a foundation, which is Yahushua? How are we going to do that? How are we going to build the house or strengthen the house if we're just disobedient? Right? Let's see. Here we go. Let's go to the book of John, and I'm going to give y'all 2 more, and then we'll wrap it up. Because like I said, I see that there's an issue in one of the links. So I'll give y'all 2 more and then we'll wrap it up. This is the book of John, chapter 14 and verse 15. Book of John, chapter 14 and verse 15 says, "If ye love me, keep my commandments." I don't think Yahushua could have made it any clearer. If you love me, keep my commandments. Remember, it says that if you say you love God and you don't hearken unto his voice, if you don't keep the commandments, then you a liar. A lot of people think that they don't have to be doing things in order to build. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna say, Israel. I'm gonna say people in Christianity, so on and so forth, right? Think that they just, yep, I got faith. How do you show your faith? You see what I'm saying? How do you show your faith? And this will be the last scripture right here. It's Book of Joshua. Book of Joshua, chapter 24, verse 15. Says, and if it seem evil unto you to serve the Lord, choose you this day whom ye will serve, whether the gods which your fathers served that were on the other side of the flood, or the gods of the Amorites, in whose land ye dwell. So we can apply that to us, right? We dwell in America. Well, some of us dwell in America, so on and so forth, right? So you're going to follow the gods of American, you know what I'm saying? And whose land ye dwell. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. And like I said, how do you serve the Most High? Through obedience. Keep the law, statutes, and commandments. How do you strengthen the house? Through obedience. Keep the law, statutes, commandments. Having faith in Yahushua, so on and so forth. Right? This is how you serve the Most High. This is how you strengthen the house of Israel. This is how you strengthen the house of the Most High. We already have a foundation, which was Yahushua. And we already know that we are the house, so we need to strengthen it and tighten it up. Right? Like I said, y'all, this was just an easy, quick little lesson. Lord's will, y'all was edified. Like I said, I see some issues with these links, which is crazy. Salakia class. Hey, Ak, I'm going to give you a call, all right? But like I said, hopefully y'all was all edified. All praise and glory goes to the Most High. Like I said, I do have the ticker down here for Lions of Israel, Colorado. If you want to send an email, y'all already know y'all can send an email or donate to headquarters, LOI, which Priest will probably have Saturday. Look out for Detroit's class tomorrow. With that, I would say Yahweh Barashim, Yahweh Shai Barakatham, Washimaratham. This is Micah Holla at LOI, Colorado. And I say Shalom.
I want to praise you, Yahweh. I want to thank you, Yahweh. I'm so grateful, Yahweh. I want to thank you, Yahweh.
For the promises. Life is a blessing and life is a lesson. Life is a setback and life is progression. Life is uneasy at times, life is comfortable. Life will lift you up and at times, life will humble you. Life is a gift, you better thank the Lord for it. Every chance you get, someone is less fortunate. Life goes in circles, life throws you curveballs. Life can be deceiving like preachers in the church halls. Life isn't promised. If I could be honest, the fact that I'm alive, that time has me astonished. Cause I came from the underground, being tossed around, being lost and found. Now they adore the sound of the priest, far from a nuance. Verses are proverbs, written's are the new songs. Another song for the blocks and the avenues. Everything is plain, I don't speak to them in parables.
I wanna praise you, Yahweh.
I wanna praise you.
I wanna thank you, Yahweh. I'm so grateful.
I'm so grateful.
Yahweh. I wanna thank you, Yahweh.
For the power I see the world through different eyes. Every Sunday got the preacher telling different lies, hearing things that I really couldn't visualize. Should've listened, Big said you'd be hypnotized. I was a victim too, I say respectfully. They all up in the soup, don't know the recipe. Talking about I'm not who I was bred to be. Count me out, man, who made you the referee? Trying to get stripes, trying to cloud chase. At 19, I made an about face. Thanks to Christ, it's also about grace. And they lied when they said it ain't about race. But that's another song, I ain't the first to tell you. Woke up up on a deeper and a surface level. Learn the laws and the laws change my attitude. And this song is to show you how a gratitude. I'm so grateful.
I wanna praise you, Yahweh. I wanna thank you,
I wanna thank you.
Yahweh. I'm so grateful,
We're so grateful.
Yahweh.